Dave Grusch says UFO disclosure should be an election issue. We've got that and a lot more to talk about today, so get in here. This is Jack with Cosmic Road. I talk about UFOs and the paranormal. Please hit like and subscribe and let me know what you think in the comments below. Okay, this is just a real short quote from David Grusch, but check it out.
I want to help the current administration. If not, we need to make it an election issue.
Absolutely, Dave. Let's make it an election issue. Wouldn't that be juicy? I mean, we've got Congress involved, passing laws. We even have the White House apparently involved in the creation of the Schumer-Rounds Amendment. So is it theoretically possible that the UFO issue could become debated on stage by presidential candidates? Wouldn't that be amazing to see Trump and Biden out there, or whoever, or ultimately the nominees, talking about UFO disclosure, and whoever is more pro UFO disclosure wins? Wouldn't that be amazing? I love it. I love that idea. Would that ever happen? Well, you know, Biden seems like he might be somewhat disposed toward disclosure, helping along the UFO Disclosure Act. Of course, he hasn't made any statements. His people haven't made any statements. You know, he's not overtly pro-disclosure, but he is allied with, you know, the Clintons, who, you know, they are definitely pro-disclosure. So theoretically possible. As for Trump, well, we've heard the Haim Ashed story where Trump learned about the Galactic Federation and was going to come out with this to the American public. You know, is that story true? I don't know. Apparently, he was talked out of it at the last minute. You know, again, that sounds so wild, and that would be such a 180 on his public statements about UFOs, where he reluctantly acknowledges that there is a situation, and that's about all he'll say publicly. So that would have been a huge 180 for him to do that. So I'm skeptical on that story. However, Haim Ashed is an extremely credible guy, a co-founder of Israel's space program, Brigadier General. You know, a solid dude. So, you know, both people, candidates, if that's who are the nominees, seem like there's an argument you could make where they are both pro-disclosure. So who knows, guys? Who knows? But it's definitely a juicy idea. I love it. If it's not on the table at the debate stage, it should be, and we should make it, you know, a topic that they are forced to debate on, because this is huge. This is, you know, obviously world changing. So bring it on, guys. Bring it on. Meanwhile, it appears that the Peru attacks, the Peru alien attacks, or whatever they are spreading to Brazil. Per Ronnie Vernet, this is the first time since 2014 that a police or military mission was conducted to investigate cases of anomalous phenomena in Brazil. The indigenous authority from Amazonas state government in Brazil just confirmed to me that due to the huge number of requests for help, a mission was conducted by the military police on October 2023 to investigate cases of floating beings popularly called face peelers. And I actually reported on this a few months ago. I'm hoping to see an update on how this has gone down. Ronnie goes on to say, as I previously reported, cases of floating beings started to happen in small communities of the state of Amazonas border with Peru on October 2023 after a wave of similar incidents in many regions of the Peruvian jungle that was occurring since June 2023. I requested new information and documents to other offices. Stay tuned. I sure hope he gets that, because I want an update on what's going on. We all need to keep our eyes on these attacks that are occurring in South America, and something ultimately needs to be done about them. If you saw my video the other day posing a theory that the face peeler attacks could be related to the missing 411 phenomenon. And, you know, go check out my video on that. There was a remote viewer that remote viewed one of the missing 411 incidents and was told by somebody to keep away. She was receiving this message while she was viewing this heinous incident where a young boy was murdered. and she was told to keep away, and she received the impression that this was done by humans in an effort to enhance natural human abilities, possibly like psychic abilities or the like. Why is this related to the face peeler attacks? Well, we don't know if it is. Obviously, and that's just one viewing, so obviously take that with a huge grain of salt. But in what's going on in Peru and now Brazil, the locals have been talking about the possibility that this is being done by organ harvesters. Now, I have long been a skeptic of that idea because if you've got UFO technology, you don't need to raise money by organ harvesting. That doesn't make sense to me. But if they are harvesting organs for other uses, I hate to get into the adrenochrome stuff, but stuff like that, is that possible that something like that could be going on in South America, and that could be related to the missing 411 phenomenon? Again, I don't know. It's just all speculation. But whatever the cause, whatever is behind this, it needs to stop. Meanwhile, Richard Dolan on Jeffrey Mishlove the other day on New Thinking Aloud, one of my favorite podcasts, has a really wild story, and it's hard to confirm, but it's a really juicy story. So let's give a listen.
But I think probably their number one concern is maintaining security. I was just reviewing some of these ideas last night. I was chatting with my wife Tracy about this, in fact, and we were just reading another source that indicated that at deeply classified levels, some of the people working on these programs, their lives could very well be at risk. If you're a scientist working on this tech, you might think that you are indispensable, but there's a good reason to think that you wouldn't be. If you were a security risk, your life would very likely end very quickly. And I'll just point out that my wife and I both know of specific instances in which high-level classified scientists appear to have been assassinated. These individuals are relations of friends of ours that we've come to know. And I do think it's true that those people probably were targeted for essentially assassination because they became security risks, despite how advanced their science was and how invaluable they probably were.
So there you go. A really incredible story by Richard Dolan. Friends of his were, according to him, murdered by the UFO control group to keep them silent or something like that. Now, he doesn't provide any verification or, any way to confirm that story. And he's coming under fire for, sharing this, coming under fire by people like John Greenwald for sharing this information, if it is information, because, obviously it's a bold claim to throw out without any corroboration. I hope he is able to provide some corroboration on why he thinks these were assassinations. But these assassinations do occur. The cover-up is real and it is brutal. Congress people coming out of the skiff with the David Grusch material were even alluding to that. Tim Burchett talked about that on an interview recently, and I covered that a few days ago, where he couldn't come out and directly say, yes, there are assassinations. But what he could say was, David, all the things that David Grusch said were true. And one of the things he said, and Tim repeated this in the interview, was that there were assassinations to keep this stuff quiet. So yeah, that is Tim basically directly confirming that there are assassinations. So I take Richard's story very seriously, and this needs to come to light. And again, one more thing that needs to stop. In lighter news, check this out: 2 Tic Tac UFOs captured by the Space Phenomena Observatory Center in Japan. This is awesome footage. Check it out, guys. Oh, beautiful UFOs. Look at that. Love it. Love it. It's just on repeat. But yeah, isn't that awesome? Isn't that awesome? That's some pretty good UFO action right there. Could that have a mundane cause? I mean, I guess anything's possible, but that looks like a pretty good capture of some UFOs to me. Let me know what you guys think. Oh, and another good debunking of Sean Kirkpatrick, his claims that it was all Chinese drones, it was all Chinese spheres, right? That was one of his recent claims. UFOs, they're not alien, they're advanced Chinese technology, they're these spheres, right? Spheres. So, but Rob Sheridan says, I'll just leave this here. If anyone sees Sean Kirkpatrick, advise him to be a little more diligent when reading the details. Because spherical indoor Kawanda effect drone, a spherical blimp for safe indoor use. So the technology that he was trying to claim debunks all UFO phenomenon is actually just a blimp made for indoor use. I'll have more to say about Sean in a video later today. Because there's some really interesting claims that he made about the bismuth metamaterial, and there's a bunch of people coming out against that, like Gary Nolan. So I will share that with you later today. Meanwhile, I haven't covered MH370 for a while. I didn't want to cover it until there was something new. But I thought I would share this. Ashton Forbes, the cloud images rebunked. Over a month ago, a debunk emerged from a 6-day-old Reddit account claiming to have found images with clouds that, after inverting, rotating, resizing them, matched our MH370 satellite video. This account claimed to have found them in 20-minute searching on an obscure website. We had already ruled out the debunk because we had previously shown the clouds in the MH370 satellite video are both moving and evolving naturally, and I've shown that with you guys, shown that to you guys. But there is even more evidence of trickery. We suspected that the images were fabricated using the clouds in the video and AI tools. Yartwarny has previously shown they could use AI to make a higher quality image in under a minute. WS Advisor has recently located what seems to be a matching image used to generate the Mount Fuji debunk picture dated February 18th, 2012. As the debunkers have argued, the chances of a perfect match like this are nearly impossible. This is strong evidence that the cloud images with the matching clouds were fabricated to discredit the case. And here is the video in question. I guess they're about to add the fake clouds. So there you go. And there's more, and I will link to this thread, and you can read the full thing at your leisure. Cloud debunk explainer, etc., etc. So, I'm still on the fence about MH370 after watching that remote viewing by the crypto viewing team of MH370. I'm inclined to think it was not UFOs, a UFO event, but, something else. On the other hand, the remote viewers were seeing a whirlpool in an energy event that they were thinking was probably maybe a missile strike. So, or at least one viewer thought it may have been a missile strike. And if that's the case, then the MH370 UFO story is disinformation designed to cover that. However, the energy event in a whirlpool could also be interpreted to mean, the UFOs in the portal, right? It's everything's still on the table as far as I'm concerned with MH370, but I'm inclined to think it's probably disinformation designed to cover some really shady stuff. But obviously we just don't know. At least I don't. Let me know your theories in the comments below. Meanwhile, Dr. Stephen Greer is claiming Nick Pope was paid large sums of money to spread disinformation on UFOs. And, the less I watch Stephen Greer, the better. So I'm not going to play this clip, but I wanted to share this with you because Nick Pope actually responded. He says, okay, I'll bite. The insidious thing about this accusation is that one can't prove a negative in such a situation. Simply put, how could I ever prove that I wasn't being secretly paid by the deep state to ramp up the threat narrative about UAP in the mainstream media? Good question. A good question. Stephen Greer has done a lot of good for the UFO community. I think that he's brought forth some incredible whistleblowers and witnesses and information. But he also tends to throw shade around and toxicity around, and of course, disinfo on alien abductions and the like. So, I have a very mixed opinion on Stephen Greer, to put it mildly. But I don't hate the man, and I think that he has done some good stuff. I think that popularizing CE5 could end up being hugely important, because in a way, we don't need UFO disclosure from the government if we can simply go out and interact directly with the phenomenon. Of course, we still need UFO disclosure because these black programs need oversight because they're doing some shady stuff, and, we need to step in and intervene. But as far as just, disclosing to the public the reality of UFOs, we can do that ourselves through CE5, and he is the one that popularized that. So, hats off to Stephen for that, and also for bringing out some great whistleblowers like Michael Herrera, who I hope to have on the show soon. But spreading stuff like this around the community, that Nick Pope is a disinformation agent, probably isn't helpful, especially if you can't substantiate it in any way. But those are just my thoughts, guys. Let me know what you think about that and everything else in the comments below. And if you've enjoyed this video, please give me a big thumbs up. I'd sure appreciate it. Smash the subscribe button and the bell to be notified of future videos. You don't want to miss a thing. Join me on social media. There's Facebook and Twitter links below. Love to see you guys there. If you wanted to support Cosmic Road in an even bigger way, please consider grabbing a coffee mug or a t-shirt in the merch store, or by becoming a channel member. Channel members are rock stars, and I really appreciate you guys' support. Thank you. Meanwhile, there are plenty of other videos on the channel, and I'll see you guys next time. This is Jack with Cosmic Road, signing out.